so good to me. And oh God, I can't believe how you're faithful. What a friend you have been. Oh shoot. Talk about Metronome Madness. I'm back in this for a minute or two at least with you, dude. I think we need some things at least a little bit. I think at least see, it's always about the least that we can do. The things that we do to try to improve and try to get to a better place are often the things that try to get us to a place where we can take our shoes and get them laced. Tripping over our own laces as we're running in place, just thinking we're going so far. But it's all in our own minds. And we think we're in a car. We're driving so hard into something in life that we hit it. Like a crash test dummy, we think it's funny that we're trying to do things so darn well, and we just can't. We laugh at ourselves if we're able to. I think it's great. Like Cain and Abel, dude. Which one are you gonna be? It's kind of just a pendulum swinging between two different things. The opposition that's in all things, and all these things end up leaving, right? Just like the seasons. I talk about it a lot. I know, I get it, but there's just a role that everything plays in life, and we've got some time where we can either choose to have a hard time and a lot of strife that we focus on, or we can just put our focus a little bit more tightly narrowed in on a straight and narrow path and begin to just go back and then realize when we take it back to basics, that's when our shoes can get laced with. In the Image Clothing Company is shoelacing technique. Got some things that I'ma let leak. I got some things like a sink overflowing like the faucet. I won't stop this cause I bring everything plus the kitchen sink. I'm in it. We can just sink together down into the word and read some things. There's a lot of things that we really can just kind of leave over there across the street, you know? And I can walk to the beat of the drum I make. I mustn't make a mistake unless the mistake that I make makes me a little unique and not like you, but the other dude, not him either. Actually, who? I don't know. If it matters if I'm like anybody else at all. That's how I was wondering when I was a kid, like, man, you know, I can try to reach to the sky. Get myself so tired and blue in the face until I fall back down. Feeling like I'm coming from outer space. Really, I'm just out in space in my mind. I'm spaced out trying to find out how to be like somebody else. What does it matter? It doesn't matter if you're like anybody else on this earth because you're like you. And really, actually, when we get down to it, dude, you know who you really are like is the one you were created in the image of, which is Jesus Christ. And he's perfect. And so if you're searching to try to be like somebody else in your life you think's got some good things going on, you might think twice. And look at the things behind the scenes that they don't like to let leak. A lot of people out there fixing so many things with duct tape that they run out of the duct tape. But eventually things like this just break. People break apart at the seams, and all of a sudden you think who they were is not actually what it seems to be. They're putting on a mask like down in front of a TV screen, showing you some things, but it's not actually the truth. And you know, that's all right. That's all right at times. It's all right to get a little bit lost in this life, because we serve a God who's perfect, a shepherd who finds a sheep, the one on the mountain who left the 99 and then he went and took a nap, fell asleep, had a dream he was something that he was not. And God comes, comforting us with his rod and his staff, and says, actually, as a matter of fact, you're my son. All those women out there, he calls you daughter. He says, hey, daughter, fear not. Your sins are forgiven thee. Go and sin no more. Go sit on the edge of that seashore and look out at all the things I created and wonder why I created you. And then look in the mirror when you're sitting home alone in your room and see if you can see inside of you what I see when I'm looking down. And we can make eye contact. And maybe that's not directly into the eyes of God, like flames burning fire. But maybe we can look outside and see that this whole earth we're on is being warmed by his sun up in the sky. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of time to find, but it's always there. It always rises again. The third day. Trinity is some bigger things than me. Some things that really are metaphoric, but as literal as they are metaphoric at the same time. And I've got a lot of lines of rhymes that I could spit for everybody till the day that I die. Got a lifetime of songs to write, as I used to say, sitting in my bedtime at night. Wait. Rewind the tape and say it again. No, that's the thing. I learned that there's a thing about life that kind of unites us all, and it's that we all fall. Adam was the first one, and you know why he did it? He did it so that men might be. And now men are. Because we were like God, essentially. In the beginning, we didn't know a thing. But God knows all things. And how does this make any sense? It kind of seems a little bit paradoxical. Oh! And we talk about it, right? The paradoxical gospel of Jesus Christ. I think I'd like to make some beats like this, and I might just miss a little bit of tempo or two across this place I'm tiptoeing through. Because sometimes we're walking on eggshells, trying not to shatter this perfect image of who we think we are, and we want other people to see that. But in fact, it's us that doesn't see what's really intact here. We don't have a grasp on who we actually are driving in this fast gear. I'm gonna get there first? No, you're gonna crash first. Go back to that crash test dummy. Like I said, it's kind of funny. In our heads, we think we're running to somewhere we'll actually get, and then we open our eyes and realize we're just standing on a treadmill, conveyor belt underneath us, and everything just seems to leave us in the past, and we don't know what to do. Grasping at straws, you should be grasping at that fruit of the tree of eternal life. Talk about Nephi, his father Lehi, and we try to wrap our minds around these stories that we've heard a million times, if you have. Like, man, yeah, I get it, but these people aren't me, you know? And these people lived across the seas, you know? These people lived in the apostasy or a different time, and I'm not that kind of person. Now I'm just a kid trying to find his way in life. Everyone's telling me what to do. Those people are prophets. They didn't have anyone telling them to stop it. They're doing some kind of things out there that are just changing the world, right? But we got to kind of change our mind. Change our mindset and look at things as they are and understand these prophets, they got persecuted for all the things that they're doing by certain people in their lifetime. Maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4. Who knows? Amount of people in their life thought that they were doing some good things. The rest of the people were looking at their nose and starting to see if it would grow. Y'all lying about some things, you know? They're telling the prophets, like, no, please. You're saying a Messiah is going to come. You think some big old man's going to come and just wipe out everyone who's oppressing us, huh? Well, things aren't exactly as we think they are. Things don't always happen exactly as we think they should. And really, when it boils down to it, that's when it's the best. When God does his thing, when we never could have imagined it. When we sit here like, man, I was waiting for a dry day so I could stop trying to save myself across these waves and just kind of land on the bottom of this ocean when I'm not really floating all that well anymore, getting sore, paddling my way to nowhere like a little doggy. I'm whining about all the things in my life, and then God sends us a boat. And we reject the boat. We say, no, I'm already afloat. I'm just waiting for the water to go. Can I just drop down like a watering hole at its most empty point and land at the bottom of this joint? But that's the thing, is we'd rather be dry. We leave ourselves high and dry and think that we like made it somewhere instead of having a little bit of a way out to get us back home. Because that's the thing, is it's a little bit of a way out. It's a still small voice. It's a straight and narrow path. Trying to fit a camel through the eye of the needle. Yeah. It's actually a place. It's like a space, though, you know. It's a space in between some things that we can interpret and turn it just a little bit, like the kaleidoscope. I like to joke a little bit, saying I don't hit a single tempo in this, but it's Metronome Madness, bro. Episode 30. I think I'm turning into a different person. I'm searching for the kind of life. I might just try to lie to myself that I don't have, and then I grab a little bit of grasp on reality and come back to sleep and realize that I'm in my Jeep, I'm driving things, I'm rolling in the dough. I'm just getting ready to rise. You see what I'm saying? I need to be kind of push down a bit to get a little bit rising then. It's like Verizon, just shout out to the cell phone company. Got some good service. When I'm in the service of my fellow man, I'm only in the service of my God. I have a hard time serving some people sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard for me to find inside myself a little bit of like courage to serve someone that's not me. Walking around in this field, nobody's gonna stop me. But all of a sudden I get around people and I think, y'all are evil, man. My tail tucks and I'm like, what's up, y'all? Run away a little bit, you know? Try to save myself. Go take a seat. I don't sit down, man. I'd rather be on my feet so I can defend myself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Life can be a little bit scary. Definitely can. But it is what it is, you know? And you know who's got the best vision, bro? Talk about 2020. Life was crazy at that time, though. Y'all know, across the whole globe, it was all just about the same. People were going through some crazy stuff. They didn't know how to find their way. But I know somebody whose name is actually the way. The truth and the life. The man who is more than a man. His name is Jesus Christ. And then there's me, that's just a man, not much more than that. And maybe even on some days couldn't even be considered one. I'm just a little kid. I'm just trying to do my biz, you know? I'm just out here doing what I do, man. Light years away from being a person who can save. So buzz off. Quit asking me for the answers. I don't know. But I'll point you to someone who does. 'Cause I'm a thug, bro. What's up, you know? This kid with this tough guy attitude. No one's gonna get in my room. As in, give me my room, bro. Back up a bit. When really, I just want a hug. I'm a kid. But I don't want to show it on the exterior, right? Painting some things on me that I want to call my life. I'm going to start to whine. But I know someone who turns water into it. But not the kind of wine where we're crying, but the kind of wine that's a whole movement, right? The first miracle, the miracle. Turning water to wine. Reminding us why we take the sacrament. We sit there and we take the little bit of bread and water, saying, hey, I can't solve these things, but I got an eternal heavenly Father. And one day a week I get down on my knees when I'm weak and I think that I might be able to do it that amount of times. Shoot. No, but on Sundays we take the sacrament, we partake of it, we remember the realization that we had when we were back to sleep in this life that we feel like we can't wake up in, burning up in the oven. And then we got a little bit of whiff of the truth. Learned that someone really did rise on the third day to help the elderly, the middle-aged, and the youth. And it's for me and him and her and every one of us too. It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done, dude. Because whatever you think you've done is worse than anybody else, I've probably done something worse than you, and I'm trying to tell everybody else the same kind of thing you're trying to say. Like, I'm not somebody who deserves to be saved. What are you talking about? Let's sit here and, you know, hug my sins. Because I'm loving this kind of life I live where tomorrow I die. But I need to eat and drink, and so whether I get married or not, I'm going to do whatever I want, bro. But that kind of lifestyle stops when we can humble ourselves a bit and realize that we need this truth that we've been given by God. You know, isn't that what we all want? Who likes to be lied to? But you like to lie, dude? Well, lie yourself down on the other side of that situation and see how patient you can be with that kind of thing. Kind of crazy. You're saying some things that don't make sense to me, bro. But God says some things that don't make sense to me, though. So, you know, you kind of got to have a little bit of perspective to understand why we let this kind of life just slide and happen to us the way that we do, because it's up to you. But life's not up to you. It's just, you know, the perspective, dude, where you're putting your attention on, and really it's who. And so before we take it a little bit slow and drown this out at the end of it and just let it just settle and sit, whatever it gets to being, I just want to make it clear that I'm doing this the way that I'm doing this. I'm the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, and I got a way of doing things that a lot of people probably think is pretty funny. Laugh it up, bro. But, you know, when you're sitting there wishing you could be all authentic and not worry about what other people thought of it, try to realize that's what I'm doing with this. You know, and I've been through a lot in my life, and I got a lot to say to you and I, man, and I can go back and listen to this just like anybody else can. Sometimes I might need it. Sometimes I'm like so seasick that the only remedy that I can get to be helping me with things is looking at the past, actually, and seeing what God did for me. When I don't think he could do anything for me, I remember the things that he's done for me. And they were done, surely, because how else could it be a remembrance of what has been? Remember. That's what he says, right? So, when you're laying in your bed at night, you're resting your head, right? Or you're in the car with your left-footed right side of your body, pushing the gas pedal down so hard you can't even slow down a bit. Try to rewind it. Go back to the times that people were a little bit simple-minded. Not like they were any less smart than us, but they realized that there wasn't all this fluff in life. All this stuff that, like, seems to leave so quickly. Technology, stop it, please. Can we go up in the mountain with the leaves? Talk about it, you know? Nature. Natural. It's all natural. Yeah, y'all get out of town when I start saying that kind of thing. You think I'm a different kind of person than I actually am, and you leave. Hey, it's all right. Takes a little bit of time to actually realize who somebody is. A lot of us are all just kids. The rest of us are too, so do what you need to. D2. Robotic people, you see what I mean? Everyone's trying to be the same. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, shoot. It's all for the youth. Turning the hearts of the children to the fathers, and the hearts of the fathers to the children. And those that didn't have any fathers that were good, we remind them that everybody has a good father. You notice how I get tripped up on it? I'm one of those kids. I'm one of those people that's got a little bit of a hard past. Go down the line and everybody mention if you had a hard past as well, or if not, just say pass, and well, we'll just assume you did because we're all just kids and everyone gets mistreated, at least every now and then. So, you know, just talk about it. Talk about it with your neighbor. Hi, my name is, well, you'll probably forget it before I even say it, so maybe I won't even say it to you. I'll leave it inside my being and just cry myself to sleep and try to justify why I'm alone again at my home when I got invited to things that I didn't want to be at because I thought they didn't want me to be there. Be there, be square. You're at home just boxed into your own beliefs. Go be around some people and see if you like some things. But understand that there's a lot of things in life that you can like that really aren't that good for you, man. So that's why I'm doing this. And it's a movement, kid. Showing the dynamic of a human being. I do this and sometimes I seem like I'm a whole different kind of person. But I'm searching for that authenticity. And really the way that I do that is I go underneath. I dig into people's skin a little bit. And one of those people is me. Trying to get underneath, you know? A lot of surface level people in life. And I want to see what really happens if I take that deep dive. Let's say I don't know how to swim. But where am I going then? Just about nowhere. Treading water, just trying to stay afloat. When God sent me a boat. Y'all see what I mean? Talk about waving to you across the seas. Talk about see you later. Yeah, what if I do? All you people who try to kick me out of your life, it's like, hey, just at the grocery store the other day, I saw this person who tried to say bye to me, thinking they'd never see me again, like a year and a half ago, and all of a sudden, hey, bro, Where'd you think I went? We're all on the same earth, you know. I think you got to do a little bit of searching to try to find the worth beneath the surface level thing you seem to be, and find out that you're just a children like me. Maybe I don't know how to speak. You're just a children. You see what I'm saying? I just talk about it, bro. We're all just playing this game where we like to confuse ourselves, trying to tell us who we think we are, and we're wrong. Aligning our will with God, though. Oh, shoot. Something to try. There's a lot of things that will fulfill you more than anything else in life, even if they're things that you don't think that you like. But God is a giver of perfect gifts. He knows what he needs to give to his kids, and he knows the gifts that we need to help us with this kind of crazy life we get. We got it because he gave it to us, and everything we got because of him. The good and the bad, the opposition in all things. Oh. There's a lot of problems that I'm never going to be solving. But I do serve a God who's perfect. And he tells me that even when I'm not worth it, I'm worth it. What's up with that? Why would you do that for me, you know? I'm just a kid. Making a lot of big mistakes. I think there's some people out there that are doing some better things. Spend your time with them instead. Leave me to just sit and stir in my head, you know? I'll just leave myself in my bed alone. But God does never leave us behind. He never will. He loves us. We drop to our feet and he brings us back up. Onto our knees. Paradoxical gospel of Jesus Christ, am I right? Came to be ministered. Not the case. That's what a lot of people think, though. He's just someone who wants to be served in a way where we're just serving some big tyrannical being in the sky. But that's a lie. Don't let me try to tell you what's true, but God didn't come to be ministered unto, but he came to be a minister to you. You know, just say it as it is, call it what it is, and give some truth to some people, and hopefully they get mad about it. Might rattle some bones inside of them until they're trying to find out why. Because we don't even know why we're upset by things a lot of the time. And I feel like, you know, probably more often than not, it's because they're things that we actually need, but we just don't want to accept it. Except when we get something that we actually think we want. But needs and wants are definitely two different kind of things. And I'm trying to leave my wants in the past. And even though I talk about not going in a fast gear, I'm trying to get to heaven. A heavenly place, you know, learning God rather than earning God's love, because he already gave it to me. So how do I be like an almighty being? Well, imperfectly. That's how. Shoot. I'm gonna leave it right there. And I want to say thank you. Metronome Madness episode 30. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of InTheImageClothingCompany. We got some good things going on here, brother. Beautiful dogs, standard-sized poodles. Some music that might leave you kind of wondering what you just heard. A podcast on the gospel of Jesus Christ, and then why really explain to us how we can live a good life inside this body we've been given, because there's only one way it ever works. So we discuss it. Put some clothing on top of it. It's got to just work the way the body works, you know. So stick around for the poodles. I got oodles and noodles of this to come. I got a lifetime of songs to write, son. Let me say that right. I don't normally write songs, but I got a lot of freestyles that I might do. I like it. Who's gonna listen? You kidding? Someone's gonna actually like that. I don't care. I'm gonna do it if I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna leave it here for you. If you don't want it, leave it there for the next guy. Pass it on down the line. Who knows? Maybe somebody needs this. Maybe somebody's life will change because of the words I say that somebody else thought were just a bunch of things that will decay, but they were actually eternal truths. It's not up to me, dude. Doing all that I can, though, to align my will with God. He's perfect. And that seems like a pretty good thing to be searching to try to be. Yeah. And that comes from really, really, really digging underneath. Taking off all the things placed on top, like the man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. That's where you find your worth. Thank you.